Hello again, I am back talking about God of War today. Not carrying on recent topics, we're talking about something that's just come out after a lot of fluctuating leaks and rumours. We finally have the news that we were sort of waiting for last week, at least time of recording. And we got it yesterday, again, at the time of recording. This already got up on Friday is what I'm thinking, so this is Thursday I'm talking about this, so Wednesday, 2 days ago, tomorrow. We know obviously God of War Ragnarok is coming out on November 9th, which is a Wednesday. Strange day, I sort of thought, but it turns out apparently Wednesday is also known as Odin's Day. So actually, I really like that when games have a release date that's kind of either numerically fits the game or just the day itself represents something. I think that's a cool sort of little trivia, to add to it. We also got the collector's edition reveals for like the physical ones and the digital stuff. We got a 30-second CG trailer, and that's kind of it for now. So we'll go through everything. So I think there's going to be more to all this. So we'll start off with the release date. I think in terms of the release date, it's good that it's coming out this year. I am a little bit concerned about the game just because it feels like the marketing has been extremely strange, and obviously that's been a large part of this conversation. And I know people, like to dunk on leakers and stuff, but it's like, to be honest, I mean, we haven't had many leaks about the game until recently, and recently it's just been kind of like guessing when it is, and there was the whole thing where this news was going to be revealed last week, but it wasn't, and then so it's just very strange, and then to think that this is going to be one of the biggest games of the year, and yet it's been nearly a year since we've seen something from it, and we've just got the CG trailer. I think it's obviously, I'm sure it's a strategy, and maybe it's that they just don't want to talk too much about the game until close to release, instead of saying, oh, it's going to come out in a year, and then having, like, slow drip feed, they can kind of be like, no, we're going to say it comes out in 5 months, it's 5 months? No, it's, sorry, 4 months even. Yeah, and then they can have more and more information dropping out, because I almost think maybe every month we're going to have something about it. Which, obviously I could be wrong about that, might not be. But yeah, in terms of the release date, it's cool. Like I said, it's cool. It is coming out this year. And I'm a little bit concerned because I just think it would be nice to see the game. I don't really have any intentions to watch more on the game, but obviously, if they post something, it's going to be difficult for me to avoid anything about it, and I'm sure I'll hear other people's opinions. So I hope the game's fine, but I think it's almost part of the plan. They're trying to keep a lot of things, sort of close and quiet about the game and secret. Plus, we've had a bunch of Santa Monica devs, including Cory Barlog, who's just recently come back to Twitter. Obviously, he was the director of God of War 2018 and God of War 2 back on PS2. And he's been very sort of confident about the 2022 date. And there's been multiple other devs that have also kind of chimed in on it sort of beforehand that, it is coming this year and everything like that. So if they're showing a lot of confidence, I feel like it's because they know that they're pretty, they're pretty happy with it. It's not like this date's been revealed and they've all been quiet. It's like, no, they're pretty set on this. Now, either that's just because they're really trying to gun for this this date, or they, they're just trying to hype people up and that, they are concerned. But I think they're trying to hide things. And so, like, I'm okay with not seeing much. I think it just means this whole wait has been extremely weird, and so while I'm okay with it, it still plays in my mind that there's something kind of strange going on. Or at least it feels like, especially with, various things like there was a whole thing about how, when it was first sort of revealed it was coming out in 2021, apparently at least that's the date they showed, which no one believed. And then they suddenly, the year later when they showed it, like, oh no, it's 2022. And that was after they delayed it. They actually put out a tweet earlier on in that year. So it's a thing, it's been delayed like a year. So it's, and basically a full year at that as well. So it's just it's a strange situation. But yeah, my plans to not watch much else. But we'll see how things pan out. I say a lot of things like, oh no, I'm going to try and go to the game without watching anything else, and I probably won't. I will probably end up watching something. So yeah, next we've got the collector's editions. There's 4 editions they revealed. There's 2 physical editions. Well, technically 3, I guess. You've got the collector's, I can't even talk today. You've got the collector's edition, the Jotnar edition, and obviously the standard edition. And then that's on the physical side, and then on the digital side, you've obviously got the standard and the digital deluxe. So the Jotnar is kind of like if you want absolutely everything, it kind of comes with all the physical items, the replica of Thor's hammer and steelbook, and some carvings and various other things. Obviously you can find, I mean, I'll be leaving the link in the description anyway, so you can go and check out all of the specifics there, and maybe I'll put a picture up on screen or something while I'm talking about it. So if getting everything is if you want everything, the Jotnar edition's best, and then the collector's edition is kind of like I feel like half of the collector's items, like physical, and all of the digital stuff. And obviously the game comes as a digital code, which is a weird thing, but I'm gonna get onto that in a minute because I'll finish explaining the actual editions first. And obviously then you've got the digital deluxe, which comes with just all of the digital bonuses and the armor sets and whatever else. And then the standard edition is just the base game, but if you obviously pre-order that version or any other version, you get 2 extra armor sets, or well, you get an armor set for Kratos and a cosmetic for Atreus. So yeah, I was kind of a bit disappointed that the collector's editions don't come with a disc that it's entirely download, and that's mainly because it's like, well, if you're supplying a code, it's kind of annoying to have to wait till you get the game to then put the disc in, and I think people are saying it's because of the PS5 digital version existing, so though it's kind of weird if you bought the digital PS5, I don't know, it's almost like you probably aren't too bothered about collector's editions anyways. I could be wrong about that, but I imagine most people would have thought ahead and gone, oh, they're not going to do that, but whatever. It makes sense. It makes sense having the code. I think the thing that doesn't make sense is not supplying the code ahead of time. Like, you would have thought they could send it out via email and then you could download it. At least once it goes midnight, once it comes out. And so I'm usually into getting collector's editions, so I'm not too sure what I'm going to do there because I don't particularly want to wait till the day of launch to start downloading the game. That's something that I'm just a bit like, especially in the UK over here, we don't have, at least where I live, we don't have like incredible download speeds. So if the game doesn't come till like 1 o'clock and the game's like 70, 80 gigs or more, I'm probably going to be waiting a good chunk of the day to play it. I'll have to just like look at all the collector's items in the meantime. Maybe I can manually translate the Norse runes on the map if I end up getting that edition. And yeah, as I said, then you've got all the digital items. The interesting about the digital items, and I won't get too much into it now, but they've got an armor set for Kratos, which they've obviously just deemed that's just the armor, but then for Atreus, they've said it's just a cosmetic, which is interesting because in God of War 2018, Atreus' armor and tunics and things, they were all... They had a cosmetic appearance change, but they also gave benefits. So it sounds here like they don't. It sounds like something has changed here. So I'm curious to know what that's about and how that might play into the game. I'm still curious if we're going to get to play if we be like playable Atreus sections in the game. I think that would be cool. But we'll see. Obviously when the game comes out, or if they'll tell us beforehand. I don't think they will. But yeah, alongside those digital items, you also get the digital soundtrack, the art book, an avatar set, and a PS4 theme, which is quite funny for a game that's on PS4 and PS5. It's like, once again, PS5 losers out there. That's probably a theme that I'll be playing on PS5, unless I end up wanting to go on PS4, I guess, And yeah, and of course you got the standard edition. So yeah, and then I guess like the big thing that they kind of showed, and it's not really that big, it's the 30-second CG, they called it the father and son trailer. Which is, as I said, it's 30 seconds, or I think it's 25 seconds, and the last 5 seconds is just the release date and like the PlayStation logo and stuff. And there's not much shown in it. It just shows like a fight with Kratos and Kratos and Atreus in this fighting some Draugr. Kratos gets knocked off the edge, then punches some Hellwalkers, I think, and then a big wolf who people are speculating to be Fenrir, if that's how you pronounce the name. He suddenly shows up at the end, and there's some monologue from Kratos and Atreus just about not being alone and being together, like again, father and son, like a team. I think is the kind of general message behind that. There's nothing crazy shown here. Like, we don't even see Freya or Thor or Odin or anyone like that. So it does feel like there is more to this. This teaser feels like a teaser. It feels like the kind of thing you would see on TV, and it feels cut short. So I am curious to know if this is only part of what we see. And it's difficult too with CG trailers because you can see things and be like, oh, that's cool, that's new for the game, but you never know how much is. You never know if the gameplay, like the game's like combat, influences the CG trailer, or if they are entirely trying to make like a cool looking CG trailer and that's it. They're not thinking about like what you can do in the game and advertising that through CG. And yeah, so I don't think there's too much else there. I think that maybe there's like a new runic attack that you see in that, but again, it's that thing of like you see Kratos like sort of do it like an almost like an uppercut, I think, with his axe, and there's like some ice kind of shoots out. So I don't know if that's like that looks new, if that's a new thing, but hopefully it's based on the game and not just fancy for the trailer or whatever. But as I keep saying, I think there's got to be more. Obviously, pre-orders they've said it's going to go live next Friday the 15th of July. They said 10 a.m. Eastern in America EST, which is 3 p.m. in the UK. But then Game, who is a retailer in the UK, said 10 a.m. themselves. So I don't know if that's miscommunication, but sometime next Friday, basically, either 10 a.m. or 3 p.m. I would imagine somewhere between or after 3 at least. Those pre-orders go live. Yeah, and I just feel like maybe they're going to have an extended version of that trailer come out next week, or they're going to have a gameplay trailer or a story trailer or something like that to sort of to preempt that, to kind of get people even more hyped, to hopefully push them to pre-order the game. I feel like it's got to be soon that we hear more. And so yeah, so it's kind of a, not it was a bit underwhelming, honestly. Like, it was kind of it's nice to know the release date. It's cool to see the collector's editions. Even though the hammer doesn't, the hammer looks like it's got a lot of weight to it, but it's obviously not metal. It doesn't look like it's some really, highly detailed. I mean, it looks detailed, but not like it's it's not made out of metal. It's made out of plastic. By the looks of things, or it might not be plastic, but it certainly doesn't look like it's like a 1-to-1 complete replica that's meant to be. But I imagine something that was literally like a real life Thor's hammer either couldn't be sold like that, or just certainly wouldn't be included in a game collector's edition. I think that would be a separate thing. But yeah, it's other than that, it's kind of it's fairly underwhelming, I think. But it's more that I'm just like, I feel like this marketing campaign has got to be the beginning of it. I feel like that's what this has started. I feel like we're now on the road to launch. It comes out. I don't think it's going to get delayed, but I think if it does get delayed, it's going to look extremely weird, because they've been so confident about 2022 for so long. Obviously, anything can change. That's just game development, but I almost think that they have intentionally wanted to be solid on this date before saying anything. And maybe that's why we've not got any trailers. Maybe they could have outsourced that teaser that we got, while they're trying to just make sure the game's done, rather than taking time to, create a trailer and kind of get that all ready. Because at the end of the day, that's going to take dev time. If they're creating a gameplay demo, well, maybe there's certain things about it they don't want to show. So, and I almost think maybe it does speak to a larger point of that they just want to keep as much secret as possible, which they were pretty. They were pretty. That was like a big thing that they wanted to do with 2018, and there's scenes in that where they show parts of the game that you're meant to have the blades of chaos in, but obviously they didn't want to reveal that, so they took them out of the sort of those parts of the gameplay. But that game was also delayed. I don't know if it was delayed from 1 year to the next, but I know when it was announced, it was then delayed by like another few weeks or another month or something like that. So, it seems like they're pretty confident on this date. I think it's interesting. It's a Wednesday, as I said, but I like that it ties in with Thor and not Thor, Odin. It's interesting. It's Odin's day, as in Odin. It's specifically Odin, who we don't really know too much about so far, other than that he is in the game. So yeah, I think before pre-orders we'll get something else, but for now that's pretty much everything. As I said, I think there's some more stuff that I might want to talk about in terms of the combat and the RPG elements, because that ties into a video that I did late last year talking about the RPG. Like, I was criticizing sort of the elements, and I'm curious to know how they're going to change, if they're going to change much, which I'll leave a link in the description. It's a pretty long analysis video that I did. So cool if you can check it out. It's a long one. I think it's like 90 minutes. But there's timestamps in it, so if there's anything in particular you want to check out, you can obviously go through that way. But yeah, for now I think I'm going to end the video. Not much else to say here. Hopefully we'll get some more information soon, but I'm not looking for more information. I'm just I just want to know the game is done and ready, and and I think from what I've heard, it's in good hands for sure. It's just whether the game itself is ready and how that'll pan out. But It's almost with how quiet PlayStation are being overall. You know, we only know about Spider-Man and Wolverine. I'm almost curious to know, are they going to try and hold on to actual reveals and releases until close to the time, because then you don't have a really long run up to like, you know, release and being like, when are we going to get more news? Maybe they want more of a consistent rollout of information. I don't know, but we'll find out. But for now, that's where I'll leave it. As I said, I might come back soon and talk about some of the other elements, but maybe we'll get more information soon. Maybe next week we'll get some extra stuff. We'll find out. But if you've been listening, thank you for watching or listening, and I will see you later. So have a good one, and ciao, ciao, ciao.